And DD India correspondent Akshay Dongre joins us live with more. Akshay, with Israel agreeing to the initial withdrawal line for Gaza, what are the chances of this peace deal working out?
Well, it seems that with the threat that unless Hamas agrees to the ceasefire, all hells will break loose. The kind of threat that came from the US president. Finally, there is enough pressure, it seems, not only just on Hamas, but also the countries that have hosted Hamas, that have supported Hamas. It's so much that, finally, almost all the parties seem to be agreeing that, the war needs to be over, and, the hostages need to be returned. However, the problem remains with the fact that Donald Trump claims that the 3,000-year-old conflict is going to come to an end. That remains a far-fetched claim because it's just a prisoner exchange that is taking place right now. The issues, the basic issues, the problem about land and about who is the original person from this land that has been claimed by both the sides, by the Palestinians and the Israelis, that still continues. So the fundamental issues are there. So to claim that the issues will get resolved automatically, that seems incorrect, and these claims also seem quite far-fetched. However, what is another thing that is problematic is about the participation of Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of Donald Trump, in such a complicated matter. You have Steve Witkoff, your envoy for the West Asia region. However, the participation of Jared Kushner doesn't make sense at this point in time, especially because the lives of so many people are at stake. The third problematic thing that remains in this claim and the kind of ceasefire that is being implemented is about the warnings that are coming in from Israel that they will be using force, or they will be using any method that is available to them to disarm Hamas, as well as the continuous strikes that are taking place by the Israeli Defense Forces, even after the warnings, from Donald Trump. So it seems clearly Israel, though is agreeing to the ceasefire, though is agreeing to halting of operation and withdrawing from a certain line, it is not, it seems, at least on the ground, in sync with the claims that are being made that there will be peace and peace will prevail after the ceasefire, because they are clearly issuing threats even before the ceasefire gets implemented.
Right, and all eyes for now on Egypt, where delegations from the US, Israel and Hamas are likely to finalize hostage and prisoner swap on Monday.
Well, Shubhendu, it also seems a tad bit of oversimplification to say, to assume, because we all have been doing that for now 2 years, to hope that a party is going to end the conflict, because there are so many parties involved. There is Iran involved with its Hezbollah. There's Qatar involved that was hosting Hamas since the conflict started. We saw how the spillover started from the very beginning, when the Yemeni forces also got involved in this. Yes, Egypt is a party to it, but Egypt's own credibility has been tarnished with this entire conflict, with Egypt not allowing many of the civilian population, or rather the refugees, to enter its borders. Many a times Egypt has also not played a very constructive role in allowing aid material to get inside Palestine, and Gaza especially. Yes, Egypt is a main party to it. Yes, US is placing all its bets on Egypt and assuming that it is going to help in ending the conflict, but it's just quite complicated at this time, and any kind of hasty ceasefire cannot be long-lived, because the situation is so complicated and so old. It's decades, or rather millennia old, as far as this problem is concerned. You really need to give it time. You also need to give dialogue a chance, at a proper level. So while if you're giving Israel a chance to express its opinion, you also have to go and speak to the Gazans who have been suffering the most. You also have to speak, also have to speak to Hamas about their plans for disarming themselves, and whether they are even willing to do it. So yes, ceasefire is a great news for the rest of the world, for the entire world, in fact. But a hasty ceasefire may just backfire and may just be temporary in nature.
Right, Akshay, thank you for joining us with those insights and updates.